I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Don't label us left or right. Our American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising 'cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours inside. American, that's what I am, that's what I think, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue.
Okay, we're back here, Super Dave Show. It's Tuesday, December 22nd. And somebody's got a lot of money. Ladies and gentlemen, I was a Tea Party member. Actually, I hosted a bunch of tea parties when I lived in Springfield, Missouri. And exactly what we're seeing now is exactly why we did it. And I am watching Americans who have no idea where this money's coming from. All they say is, gimme, gimme, gimme. And honestly, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I'm looking at my kids and grandkids just knowing that they're up a creek. They're going to be paying this off. Their kids are going to be, great-great-great-grandpa. Down. This is going to be down if we last that long. First of all, we got to get through this election. But when you find out what was in this bill, first off, and I have a speech by Rand Paul. It's a little long, but I'm going to play it in parts. But he nails it. He nails it. Rand Paul is one of my favorite people in the Senate. But he calls it out as it is. Now, I'm going to tell you the numbers here. We have 180 Republicans in the House, and the you just never know it. And it was, here we go. We got it. It's going to the president, and honestly, I hope he doesn't. I hope he vetoes it. I do. Not that because people aren't hurting, they are hurting, but they're hurting because of the government, and you're going to hear Rand Paul talk about that. But the House passed this bill 359 to 53. Now that means there were about 130 Republicans in on this stupidity. Now the first thing you may be saying is, well, wait a minute. We have to help these people. Well, first of all, the only reason we're helping these people is because politicians are hurting these people. They're closing things down. Yesterday in St. Louis County, Sam Page says, well, we're going to start working on opening these places up. Why? Half of them are closed now for good. I talked to a friend of mine yesterday, lives in St. Louis County. He told me about a bar he goes to all the time. He says, they're going to close. They can't handle it anymore. They had to handle it earlier this year. Then now they're doing it again. It is ridiculous. They are just choking small business. And what do the citizens say? And the Republicans too. What are they saying? Write them a check. I want you to go to your kids and grandkids and think about the future kids and think about the fact, write them a check. You know, when I get Republicans doing the same thing, of course, Blunt voted for it. I guarantee you that. But we're going to see, I don't know if I can find who did or didn't. I can tell you a couple things. Believe it or not, two Democrats actually voted against it. One of them's a shock. One of them's Tlaib, the Muslim gal, nutcase. But the other one, Tulsi Gabbard, who's probably the only one in the House that's got any decent sense. And then the rest of them came from Justin Amash, who used to be a Republican, and 50 Republicans, whatever. It just, It is sickening. Yeah, it took one page to give people $600. You're right. There's 5,000 pages, but let me explain to you where we're going. But let me go to Senate first, too. The Senate aligns itself with the House, passes the funding plan 91-7. And if I could get a list here, I'm going to read it because I am thoroughly pissed off beyond belief. Now, the first thing I hear from people is like, well, don't you care? You damn right I care. That's why I said open this government up. Open it up. Let people be capitalists. Let people do what they do best. And these jackass people, I mean, I'm so sick of people saying, close this down, close that down. They're still getting a check. But they're telling everybody else to close down. I'm sick of it. I can't believe I'm an American. But let me tell you where some of this money's going to. You ready for this? This is the coronavirus relief bill. You got that? Let me see. What are they calling exactly? The COVID relief omnibus spending bill. Here you go. You ready for some of this? This is, all right, you got all these people out there suffering because of what government has done, and this is what they're going to do. $135 million to Burma. I don't recall that being one of the 50 United States. $85.5 million to Cambodia. Well, we got to take care of other people. Really? When's the last time we got a check for somebody in the United States? $1.4 billion for the Asia Reassurance Initiative Act. Whatever the hell it is, I don't care. $130 million to Nepal. $700 million to Sudan. $250 million in Palestinian aid. And $25 million for which everybody's going to jump up and down and get excited about for the gender programs. For gender programs in Pakistan. And this is why we started Real Republicans. Real Republicans is really, I guess, a renewal of the Tea Party. Because this kind of stuff is bullshit. It's bull. It makes me sick to my stomach. And what is Majority Leader Mitch McConnell? He's supposedly a Republican. You ready for this? None of us think this legislation is perfect. Now, why the hell are you voting for it? But a big bipartisan majority of us recognize the incredible amount of good it will do when we send it to the president's desk. The American people have waited long enough. What the hell are you talking about? It looks like everybody else. The majority of money is not going to the Americans. Let me finish. The American people waited long enough. I'm glad for our country that we're now moving ahead together. So if you are in deep doo-doo because they've closed you down, they've stopped your job, all kinds of stuff, you get $600 that your grandkids and great-grandkids and great-great-grandkids will be paying for. I'm sick. I am sick. I hope the president looks at this and says, this is not what's about. I have to admit, I understand if he does, but I don't in a way because we can't do this. This is his time to stand up and say, no, I want to help Americans, but this is not helping Americans. This is helping everybody else. It's not our place to support every country on the planet. I cannot believe what these people are doing. It really does frost me to no end. I mean, I'll tell you what. I go to the comment sections and some of this stuff. on Facebook and all the rest of it. And I can see so many Democrats and phony ass Republicans saying, "Well, we got to give the people more." I want everybody to think about this. I want you to think about this. You want to give people more of your grandkids' money. Do you know how much in debt our country is right now? And this pandemic, or should I say plandemic, is all political. Oh, but there's a virus. It's all political. I saw a video yesterday. A guy walked into a hospital and it was basically empty, and they kicked him out because he was saying, "Where's all the patients?" There wasn't hardly anybody in the parking lots. Oh, there's a few patients at some of them, but they make it sound like everybody around us is dying. I personally don't know if anybody's died of COVID, but everybody's dying. How's it work? I'm telling you, folks, I am just livid right now because I can't. This is why we started Real Republicans, because we would never, ever put up with this, ever. It just is unbelievable. I'm going to play a little bit of Rand Paul here. It's 14 minutes. I'm going to play some of it and then stop and play more later because I think we need to, some people are not logged on yet, but some people need to be reminded of what the hell's going on here. This is sick. I mean, this really is sick. When we see this, every American should be going, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this to our kids." This is child abuse. I guess what? I guess the people at my age group who are going for this better be giving every last penny to their grandkids, because they're the ones that are going to have to pay for it. I don't know how they can. I really don't know how they can. And I can imagine President Trump just scratching his head going, "My God, I can't believe this." And I really do hope that he vetoes this. So, all right, we're gonna play this real quick, and you can listen to Rand Paul talk for a little bit.
Like to mock modern monetary theory, the idea that government can print money with impunity, that government can spend whatever it wants without the need to tax. Modern monetary theory is basically the Dick Cheney deficits don't matter crowd, trussed up with a new fancy title. Most Republicans rightly lampoon this quackery, that is, when they're not practicing the quackery themselves. Today, many of these same Republicans will vote for a bill that makes modern monetary theory look like child's play in comparison. The monster spending bill presented today is not just a deficits don't matter disaster, it is everything Republicans say they don't believe in. This bill is free money for everyone. Proponents don't care if you're fully employed or own your own house or own your own business. Free money for everyone, they cry. And yet, if free money were the answer, if money really grew on trees, why not give more free money? Why not give it out all the time? Why stop at $600 a person? Why not $1,000? Why not $2,000? Maybe these new free money Republicans should join the Everybody Gets a Guaranteed Income caucus. Why not $20,000 a year for everybody? Why not $30,000? If we can print up money with impunity, why not do it? The Treasury can just keep printing the money. That is, until someone points out that the emperor has no clothes and that the dollar no longer has value. To so-called conservatives who are quick to identify the socialism of Democrats, if you vote for this spending monstrosity, you are no better. When you vote to pass out free money, you lose your soul and you abandon forever any semblance of moral or fiscal integrity. So the next time you see Republicans in high moral dudgeon claiming and complaining about spending of Democrats and socialism, remind them Remind them, if they supported this monstrous bill, that really the difference between the parties is less Adam Smith versus Marx and more Marx versus Engels. How bad is our fiscal situation? Well, the federal government brought in $3.3 trillion last year and spent $6.6 trillion. The deficit last year, a record-busting $3.3 trillion. If you're looking for more COVID bailout money, we don't have any. The coffers are bare. We have no rainy day fund. We have no savings account. Congress has spent all the money long ago. The economic damage from this pandemic is not the reason for this runaway spending. This spending's been going on for decades. Every year, even before we get to all the extra COVID-free money, we've been spending $1 trillion we don't have. Today's money is gone. So Congress is spending tomorrow's money. The spending chart is a red line of red ink that goes on forever. When we talk about spending tomorrow's money, it's not just the money that we need next month, it's the money we might need in a decade. It's the money we will need in 1, 2, 3 generations from now. For national defense, for infrastructure. This is the money that your children and your grandchildren will pay back with interest. The deficit doubling and tripling. Under George Bush, it went from $5 trillion to $10 trillion. Under President Obama, it went from 10 to 20 trillion. We're now at 27 trillion, but we're adding it at $1 trillion a year before we get to this COVID budget-busting bailout. Every tax-paying American already owes over $136,000, and they're staring at projections into the future that show no end. We are $27 trillion in debt today. How do we expect a child to have the economic opportunity when this crushing debt is their inheritance from Congress? The numbers are mind-boggling. It's hard to conceive of what $1 billion is, much less $1 trillion. How big is a billion? Well, 1 billion seconds ago was 1988, and Reagan was president. 1 billion minutes ago, Jesus walked the shore of the Sea of Galilee. 1 billion hours ago, man still lived in caves. But $1 billion ago was just 80 minutes ago. $1 billion ago, at the rate Congress spends money, was just 80 minutes ago. All of this should be
that's
setting
what I'm
off
saying.
alarm
I'll be back
bells.
to it in a minute here. But that's the kind of garbage that's going on. Yeah, that's. I'm telling you, every person watching this show should be livid like I am. Now, we are watching every day, and we're watching Republicans vote for this. The reason we brought up real Republicans, I'm not doing this to chime for us, but I am. Because real Republicans say this is bullshit. First of all, we don't close businesses. We don't close a legitimate business unless they've done something wrong. Something existing when they got involved. If you open a business, they used to say, what's a grandfather clause? They were there. But now they find ways around it. Now they just make a proclamation and say, you got to close this business because somebody may get sick when they're standing up. The insanity of all this is just over the top. And this is why I have said over and over and over that Republicans, the R next to that damn name means nothing. All it means is that you don't have a D next to your name. That's really all it means. Because if you think the Republicans and Democrats, not all, but if you think the Republicans and Democrats are really that much different, you live on another planet. That's why when these people say, that's why it drives me nuts at voting time. As long as we vote a Republican. Really? I don't have the list. I'm going to find the list of who voted for this garbage. Now, let me tell you what happens, though, because I know how legislation works. let's say, let's say my congresswoman, who I'd almost guarantee you voted for it, Ann Wagner. The Democrats in the next election would say, well, she voted against you. She voted so you didn't get any money. All they're looking for is talking points. And instead of defending it and saying, well, no, actually, that's not true, because I wanted to vote to give help people out. But unfortunately, the Democrats added all this garbage in there, and it didn't make sense. I didn't think that we should have something that we gave 3/4 of the money to other countries and call it a coronavirus spending bill. That's what the problem is. Because people don't do their research, and automatically they go, well, if she's not going to take care of us, what the hell is wrong with people thinking that a congresswoman or a congressman is supposed to take care of me? You know, I'm going to go back to my childhood. I took care of myself the day I thought I could do it. I never, ever needed anybody else to take care of me, and I never have. Government is what stops me from taking care of myself. They continue to take more and more of my money, like your money, and we allow them to do it. People are so free and easy. Well, go ahead and give them money. They need the money. You know what? You have every right to take the money out of your pocket and give it to somebody else. You have every right to do that. But when somebody tells me, just give it to those people over there, I always tell them, this is why I tell people on welfare who shouldn't even be on welfare, who can, if I see a guy with a pair of crutches and one leg and he's working in a tire shop, or I see a guy in a wheelchair who's paralyzed from the waist down, but he goes to work every day, there's not a hell of a lot of people left that can't get off their lazy asses and work. However, let's just not stick with those people. We have corporate welfare beyond belief. Yes. And it's voted by these same people. It's unbelievable. And it's not the corporate tax. This is something way, way beyond most taxpayers. They go, well, we have to charge those companies more money. That's your money. Do you realize corporations, they collect money from you and give it to the government? They pay the government? Yeah, they do that. That's how it works. Well, that's just it. You've got people that when I was, you're a single mom. I was a single dad for quite a while. I raised my son. It doesn't make sense for people to think that they can have their hand out and somebody's going to help them. I got a whole slew of relatives that think that they're entitled to your money. And I'm the jackass for calling them out. But I don't like that. But you know what? They've been trained that way. They've been trained to be paid slaves. That's what they've been trained to do. But while they're playing this game, the corporate does it too. And now, what does corporate do? Corporate works together to get rid of a president. Oh, yes. There's a lot of corporations working together who own the media. That's what we have. It's really interesting because we always talk about the rich Republicans. There's a hell of a lot more rich Democrats than there are Republicans. And a lot of the rich Republicans that are working, that have the money, are working with those Democrats because as far as they're concerned, they can have a few billion more. I've been so hard on some of these companies like Walmart and the rest of it because of the fact that they walk away with billions every year and they give their employees, slave wages. That's where we were. They've gotten better. We ourselves don't even have the sense to turn around and look at the people working at McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever, and they're middle-aged people who lost their jobs because of politicians. And we want to say, you only deserve $8 an hour. Because when I was a kid, not even having the brain power to look at them and say, no, wait a minute, that person's 34, 35, 40, 50 years old. Why are they there? It's a lot of times they are there. I know this for a fact because the politicians have given the jobs away to China, to Mexico, to every other country. We're giving money to these other countries. We're giving jobs to these other countries. What the hell? We're just the cash cow of the world. And you can see it right here. So I am livid. And I'm going to continue this because I need a break. I am so mad that we have allowed this stupidity to happen over and over and over, and all we can do is print money and charge it to our grandkids' accounts. I really am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to be an American today because I'm watching these people. But this is why I get on the voters. Now, a lot of people, what are you going to do? You're going to look at the vote. This is what happens. This is why I'm such a jerk. Because so many people say, well, we need to get on them. First of all, you're not getting on them. Second of all, you voted them in. Third of all, you've actually a lot of times put your hands out and said, here, give it to me. We cannot continue. Look, I love lower taxes. But we cannot continue to ask to get lower taxes, but spend like there's no tomorrow. We can't do it. It's like he said, the Dick Cheney economy. Just keep spending money. That's all you do. That's the Republican way now. It's not just Democrat. It's Republican. It's not a real Republican, but it is a Republican way. They are in bed with them all the way. They're the ones trying to take out President Trump, trying to null and void your vote. Those are the same people. What I hope in the next 2 years, year and a half, that we have the biggest Tea Party type attitude ever. That every single person in office who is in on this knows that their time is limited. Probably won't happen. I hope to God it does before I die. I will tell you that right now. I am ashamed to be an American right now, and I think you should be too. Anyway, I want to do a little bit more Rand.
The only alarm bells in Congress are sounding the alarm for more spending and more debt. No cuts, no offsets, no pay-fors, no prioritization. Just print it up. Print up more money and give it out to everybody because it's free money. Come and get yours. Well, the getting's good, but it leads to a mountain of debt. Spend all this money and leave the future to figure itself out. John Maynard Keynes was once asked, what about the long run? He said, in the short run, you can make a stimulus, you can print money, and you can give it to everybody. And Maynard Keynes, his response was, in the long run, we'll all be dead. No concern for the future, only for the immediate. Our budget deficit for 2020 was $3.3 trillion, but this new spending package will also give us another $2 trillion in the next fiscal year. By refusing to acknowledge the debt crisis, we are only hastening the day of economic reckoning. Total debt was 55% of GDP just 20 years ago. Today, it's 128% of GDP. So our total debt is more than our GDP, 128% of our GDP. The World Bank estimates there's a tipping point of debt to GDP at about 77%. Every percentage point costs another tenth or so of economic growth. So every year we're giving up somewhere between 5 to 8% of growth every year because of this burden of debt. This is thousands of jobs every year, tens of thousands of jobs that we lose because of this burden of debt. We are borrowing and worsening this debt crisis in part because too many governors and mayors have imposed heavy-handed restrictions that crush business. It isn't the pandemic that's killing the economy, it's the government's overzealous response that is killing the economy. The pandemic itself was disrupted, but Congress is being asked to help perpetuate these lockdowns. The more money we give to the states, the more they keep us in lockdown. Every bailout dollar printed and passed out to the governors only allows these tin-pot dictators to perpetuate the lockdowns. Their rules are arbitrary and unscientific. Governors and mayors across the country are picking winners and losers. Businesses, some that have been in families for generations, are being wiped out because they're not allowed to open. Restaurants have to close their doors for indoor dining, but then they get told they can open at limited capacity. But then they are told they have to close again. And then they get told they can open outside, and then they're told they can't open outside. Confusing, doesn't even explain the half of it. Bars are told that they can only serve alcohol if people are sitting and not standing, and only if they have heavy foods on their menus. Restaurants are told they can serve outdoors, then they have their permission revoked after they've sunk time and money converting their restaurant to outdoor services. But a caterer is told they can still serve outside. Businesses are told they have to close at an arbitrary time determined by government officials as though the virus only comes out late at night. A business in one zip code can open, but one in an adjoining zip code across the street has to close, as if the virus can't cross an imaginary line. Airlines are allowed to fly, but hotels have to limit their occupancy, so you may not have anywhere to stay when you get there. Mom and pop stores and specialty stores are forced to close, but big box store competitors are allowed to stay open. How is any business expected to survive with this kind of arbitrary regulation that changes from day to day? Meanwhile, many schools remain closed, despite overwhelming evidence showing kids can learn safely in person. Which means parents can't go to work, which forces parents to leave their jobs and take care of homebound kids. Now, they have no income because the government forced them to leave their jobs to take care of their kids, and many kids are struggling with this improvised virtual school. The need for help is real. I hear it every day from Kentuckians and across the country. But it's clear that government has worsened the economic damage and acted as the biggest obstacle to economic recovery. There is no free money that can get us out of this situation. The only thing that can save us is to open the economy. If we give these tin-pot dictators, these governors, more money, they're less likely to open the economy. The answer is not printing up and distributing free money. It's opening the economy. We're not even debating the real answer to this. We're like, just print up the money and shovel it out the door. The deficit be damned. The threat of the destruction of our currency be damned. We can choose to let our economies open with guidance and precautions, but not obstruction. Let people rebuild their livelihoods. Reopen our schools so our kids can return and parents can go back to work. Congress should do away with automatic spending increases and scrutinize where in the budget we can find savings to pay for the pressing needs arising from the pandemic. But we shouldn't simply print up money and pass it out to everyone. Or Congress can follow the status quo. Congress can continue to borrow from our kids, the same children we've locked out of our schools. Congress can keep enabling and shutting down businesses by force, spend all of today's money and all of tomorrow's money, and then good luck. Good luck figuring out how to pay for all of this massive debt. It doesn't have to be this way. There is another alternative that won't be debated, and that alternative is open the economy. It's not too late to change our course. Cut unnecessary spending, eliminate waste, stop fighting a $50 billion a year war in Afghanistan that hasn't had a military mission in at least a decade. Make the hard decisions now. We can't keep pretending that more debt is a sustainable policy course. Leadership is not passing on the problem to someone who can't protest. Leadership is making the hard choices now. This is what we have to do. I will oppose this new debt, and I will continue to sound the alarm until we change our course. Our country can be saved. We can survive this if we pull together, but adding more debt is a mistake. It is not the solution, and we should resist it. Thank you, Mr. President.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a great speech. And if you think differently, then we have some serious problems. Yeah, you know, Mike, it's nuts, isn't it? You can't go to a show and watch a show. I mean, this is all ridiculous. You know, why is it? Here's one of my issues with people. Why aren't we standing up and saying, no, wait a minute. There's so many doctors that say, you know what, forget the mask. Go back to normal. Don't do it. This is part of life. It happens. People die. That's how it goes. I'm sick to death of watching our economy go to hell because a bunch of 80-year-olds are dying. I mean, really, yes, there's other people dying. People die every day. You watch TV and you see those poor kids at St. Jude's Hospital. And you see them and they're living. They have all these problems and they're living. And they just go on. There's people that go on. We're never going to stop death. Mike, you're a cop. I was watching a video earlier. And according to what we're seeing now, every cop should stop working because he could die. There's a risk in life, and it is you can die. You could get in your car, go down the street, and lose control, or somebody else could lose control, hit you. It's a part of life, is death. But it goes back to what I keep saying. Why are we listening only to the left? I'm serious. Why are we only listening to the left? Why is it that when Dr. Fauci, who we know is a bureaucrat nutcase, says you have to do it this way or that's it. If you don't wear a mask, then you don't care. I'm sick to death of some jackass around me telling me that I don't care about other people because I don't wear a mask. Because I don't believe any of this garbage. Well, you're not a scientist. You know what? There's people out there that are scientists that don't agree with any of this garbage. But guess what? They don't matter. Oh, no, they don't matter because they don't know as much as a liberal scientist, as a Democrat. This is not about COVID. Yeah, they use COVID as a vehicle. That's all it is. Yeah, COVID. Yeah, next time it's going to be COVID-21. We're going to have another lockdown. There's a lockdown for everything. When are you going to say enough is enough? You're right. They thrive on drama. The people out there love that they love they love government. I mean, for some reason, and people keep looking. These are the things I don't understand. Why is it that Congress and Senate get like a 10% approval rating? But when they open their mouth and say, you need to do this, you need to do that, I mean, politicians themselves get a really low approval rating. But they open their mouth and say, well, we have a pandemic, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And you go, oh, wow, he's going to save us. Really? How many people in St. Louis County, for instance, are having their lives decimated? How many people, and here's the bigger question, how many people in St. Louis County or anywhere is standing up for those people? When I went to go do a protest against Sam Page, a handful of people showed up. I have to tell you, my heart hurt. There were more people from Jefferson County and St. Charles County than showed up from St. Louis County. The people themselves have given up. They have a group on Facebook, people who have kids in school who play sports and all that, and they weren't allowed to go to their kids' games because somebody may get it. I remember seeing the video some time ago outside. Remember, this is all changed day by day. It's gotten worse every time. But I remember the woman sitting over on the side by herself, and she didn't have a mask on because she couldn't wear one, and I understand that totally. And what is she doing? She gets arrested because she wouldn't leave. She was outside by herself. The stupidity of that has to be there. I mean, but you've got people out there, Nazis out there, that go, well, but it is the law. I'm telling you, it's nuts. My favorite one of all, the guy out in the ocean by himself, paddle boating. And the authorities, I'm sorry, I know there's police officers that watch this. Any cop that goes out there, I'm telling you right now, if you're one of those cops that go out there, you are embarrassing. I don't care what your commander says. I'll look at my commander. That's why, guess why I'm not a cop anymore. I'm going to look at my commander and say, you are out of your freaking mind. I am not going to touch that guy. You can fire me on the spot. The hell with my pension, the rest of it, I'll sue you for it. But if you think I'm going to walk out to arrest somebody for being in the middle of an ocean, he's not bothering anybody. He does what they do normally. Well, but there's a law. Fire my ass. I could never be a cop today. If any commander told me that, I would look at him and I'd do everything I could not to punch him out, because I'm telling you, this is wrong. It's time police officers start standing up and say, we're not going to do this. I got to tell you something. I have a good friend here. He's a sheriff from Jefferson County. And he has already said, I'm not touching that. He goes, if they want to do those silly mask mandates, do it. Yesterday, Jefferson County, and this is all our fault now. We got to go back to where it comes from. The health department has 5 people on the board. 3 of them are liberals. They have a mask order, which means nothing. In Jefferson County, most people will say, kiss my ass. They don't even care. They don't even care. They're just going about it, and that's it. And the people from St. Louis County are coming over, and our restaurants and all are packed. But just like Rand Paul said, what about those people? And I feel for them. What about those people in St. Louis County? And I remember when my friend Linda, who's watching, but she's not on, she's in Facebook jail again. I remember when she went to Barlino's. She's not from St. Louis County, but she went there to help somebody. The stupidity to think that I guess COVID doesn't like. I don't know what it doesn't like. I mean, it's the most nonsensical garbage I've ever heard in my life. Well, you got to be outside in a tent. So, like Rand said, you go ahead, you spend all this money. I've seen this over and over, by the way. You get all this money that you spend to keep your business going, and then government changes the rules again. Sam Page is getting paid very well. Besides that, he's also a doctor, and he's getting paid for that too. He's still doing that. I don't know how that works. Well, yeah, Nancy, you know what? That's one thing I don't go for. I'm sorry. If there's going to be some cops that disagree, I really don't care. If somebody's going to go arrest somebody, Now look, if you walk into a business and the business says, we don't want you to do this because we don't want it in our place, they have every right to do that. But here's where I have a problem, and I understand where some businesses are caught in the middle. It's like we're Jefferson County here, and you've got these Nazis in Jefferson County Health Department now telling their inspectors to go to these places and make sure people are adhering to this. Otherwise, they're going to pull their license. They're going to do what they can and pull the license, and then you get these weak-kneed politicians who'll go along with it. I'm sorry, this is crazy. This is happening everywhere. The city of New York, my friend Emilio, who listens occasionally, he's moving because the great, great city of New York, probably one of the greatest cities ever in the history of the world, is going to crap because the Democrats and the phony Republicans like in Missouri, but the Democrats and in Ohio and other ones, but the Democrats have ruined that city. They've ruined St. Louis City. They've ruined St. Louis County. They've ruined so many cities. Detroit, you name it, they've ruined it. And now we have Republicans who have an R next to their name, and they think they're helping by spending money to Burma. And what is it, Carl? You said, I mean, not Carl. Jim, you said Burma isn't even around. Isn't what you said? Burma is now Myanmar, whatever it is. And the government has never been friendly with the U.S. Why are we sending money there? This is where in time, and look, real Republicans isn't just about going through the motions. Let me tell you something. My goal, and I'm not going to live through this, But my goal, and I think a lot of our goals, is to find out what the hell our representatives are doing when they're up there. And to defend them when they are, for instance, defend them when they say, I didn't vote for that bill because it had all that garbage in it. But that's what they do. The majority, and this is where the problem is, the majority of Democrats, the majority in Congress are Democrats. So they kind of get to write to stuff. That's just how it works. But when you got Republicans joining in because they are afraid, because all they care about is having a job again, but they are afraid that they're going to be nailed if somebody didn't care about their constituents, it's real easy to do. It is. And we want to defend those people if that's what they're really doing. Because, first of all, I don't even know if I want to defend them because I'm sick to death of pansy-ass Republicans. I am. If you can't stand up, go away. I am just so sick of it. Weak-kneed Republicans, to me, need to go. They just need to go. By the way, you can call the number. Let me make sure I get the phone up. You can call the number. I can entertain a phone call if you like. But, folks, there's so much. Yeah, $700 million to Sudan, but Americans are rejoicing getting $600. And I'll tell you what, most people couldn't even find Sudan on the map. But your money's going there. And so, Nancy, by what you just said now, I want real Republicans to have a research area. There's people, if we have the right kind of people in there who are really active and doing things, they can look it up. There's people out there we don't have a media do it anymore, not really. And find out who brought it up, who put it in the bill, and why. Why are they doing this? Americans can't even take care of their own. They got businesses. They got people committing suicide. They got drug overdoses beyond belief. But we're going to go ahead and send all this money to other countries. It makes me sick to my stomach. It really does. To be called an American right now is embarrassing. To be called a Republican is embarrassing. And now here's another one here. I won't be able to appear at the Perry County because by the way, there is a bus that is leaving St. Louis on January 5th. I won't be on the bus because we're going to drive there and then we're going to go south. But there's a bus leaving on January 6th, about $135 a piece. They'll take it to Washington, D.C. and back. And you can join people on January 6th and join us because I'll be there for sure with my bullhorn, doing what I do best, big mouth me. Better say my voice. Won't be any shows that week. But that's what we're going to do. That's on a Wednesday, by the way. And there's a lot of people want to join, and I have a feeling we may end up with another bus. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people there. And if you're gonna be a chicken shit and say, well, I'm afraid Antifa's going to be there, BLM, let me tell you something else. There's a hell of a lot more of us than there are them. And if you're going to walk around with your tail between your legs, then keep your happy ass at home. I'm not afraid. And we have to protect the ones around us that are more vulnerable. And believe me, I always do that. I've always done that. Well, they are not. They're only representatives when they, Nancy says, for representatives to be called that as a joke. They're only representatives when they want your vote. And sure, you're right. I don't want government money. I want businesses open, children back in school, Biden put in a nursing home. I want my freedoms protected. I don't want my money going to other countries when we're trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt and my grandkids have to pay for it. I don't know how in the world anybody could be okay with that. But you know what? A lot of your Republican legislators are. I want a list. I'm going to get a list. My goal today is to get a list of who voted yes. because I want every one of these damn people out of there, unless they got one hell of a good reason. But I can't think of one. I'm with Rand Paul. Look, I've been a Rand Paul fan for a long time, because he's probably one of them. It's really interesting because Rand Paul actually has become a good friend with the president, because they do think alike. It's just that the president has to do things a little different than Rand Paul. Rand Paul's out there doing the God's work by preaching that this is all garbage. That's what he's doing. So if we can't do a better job as citizens, we deserve the government we got. We really do. But that's one reason, when and I keep talking about real Republicans, the reason I do that is because I am the Republican Party to me, the current Republican Party to me is dead because of the garbage what they're doing right now. They're helping the establishment, which would be Joe Biden, be the next president. But we're going to have a say in this. Can the president still veto? Absolutely. He hasn't signed it yet. And that's just it. He's stuck in a dilemma. I bet you 10-1 he's trying to figure another way out. I wonder if he could do an executive order. Now, some people will like this, libertarians will like it, but you know what? If it comes to a point, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be awesome? Oh, let me go a step farther with something that Rand Paul said that I 100% agree with. I have a bunch of losers in my family. A bunch of them, okay? And they're relatives. That's all they are. I didn't cause their birth, and I guarantee I'm not around them. But they are happy as it can be. They are getting checks every damn month. They are getting help every damn month. Help, hell. No, they're getting a handout is what they're getting. And we have people who have pensions, who are getting Social Security. They're getting the same amount of money. And instead of us having the intelligent people in office that says, now, wait a minute. If you're getting a Social Security check, I'm sorry, you're not getting any of this because right now your monetary situation is not being affected. Every one of them. But that's not what's going on. It's money for everybody. If you happen to be breathing that day, pretty much you get money. What about the person who's been told by government you have to close your bar or restaurant, where you've got thousands and tens of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars invested of your own money, and then you got government turning around saying, "Oops, for political reasons, we got to close it." I would rather see that money go to help those people survive the idiocy of their mayors and county executives. I'd rather see that money go there than see these stupid-ass signs, pardon me, these stupid signs on the side road says, make sure you wash your hands many times. Make sure you wash your hands. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. You're paying for that garbage. And I actually have people out there to say, well, but they got to tell people. If you haven't figured it out by now, then you're a freaking idiot. I'm sorry. I am, lately, I don't want to get this mad all the time. I really don't. I like to enjoy life. But I'm so frustrated by the absolute lunacy of the American people and what they're doing today. It is just bizarre. And now I'll tell you one thing I've found. That if anything, people are waking up. Some, not enough. But I've heard from more than one person. Oh, and by the way, Sherry's one of them here. She wants to run for school board. And I have to tell you something that's really weird about this. Is that we need more. I mean, everybody listening right now should be going, what can I do? I want to get on there. What can I do? Because we got to take over our schools. You got teachers sitting their happy asses at home going, I don't want to go to work. I just want to stay here. I'm afraid of the virus. My friend Mike was on there. He's a cop. He's afraid of getting shot. Maybe he should stay home until he can be guaranteed that he won't get shot. I mean, the stupidity of this is amazing. It really is. The one thing, look, I was a sports fan. I haven't been for a while, ever since their garbage. But I often wonder, why are people treating baseball players and football players and all that? And look, I'm not going to look at teachers to think they're heroes either. Everybody can be a hero. I'm tired of picking these people out heroes. But why are all these people heroes? Do people even understand the definition of what hero is? No, it's not a mask mandate. It's not it's a mask order. Look, a mandate means that it has repercussions. It has no teeth whatsoever. It's a mask order. So if you're in Jefferson County, I don't care what they tell you on the news, because the news lies. We know that. It's a mask order. It's the same as a boil order. Pretty much. I was in a place yesterday with a friend of mine when he was telling me about the place in St. Louis County going broke, that they're going to close their business. Been there for a long time. A bunch of firemen got together. They call it the firehouse. A bunch of firemen got together, and they put their hard-earned money together to put this bar together. Really nice place. And the politicians are making them go broke. And the voters walking around are saying, but as for our safety, this is why I tell everybody, if you're walking around with a mask on, look, if you're in Jefferson County, I'll put it this way. If you're in Jefferson County, anywhere actually, because a lot of people aren't even paying it, they're just saying, I don't care what they say. I'll put the sign in the window. I've done enough. I'm not going to play cop. I'm certainly not going to chase them out of my business. I'll tell you what, any business that chases you out, I'm sorry, unless they're a germaphobe or something like that, lost my business. Now, I understand some of them is like, I've had this happen. I got inspectors coming by sometimes. They see somebody in here, then they go after us. It's sickening, the Nazis that we have running government and being involved in government. And if you notice, there's not a person in government that's lost a paycheck. In fact, every person, the very person that's going to these restaurants and telling them that they have to close, or we're going to cite you, or whatever they do, the very person that does that is getting paid a stimulus check, Why are people that are getting their money all the time, why are they getting stimulus checks? You know who should get it? The people who are really suffering. I'm the stupidity of this, but you know what? People go, well, my tax money. No. It's not your tax money. It's not your tax money coming your way right now. You know whose tax money it is? Your grandchildren's. Right now, you're stealing out of their wallets. If you, for 1 second, think that any of this is okay, you really and truly are not going to. Well, it may be. Maybe time for an armed militia to stand in front of but this is where if this is where I get on police officers. First off, this is why I don't like politicized police chiefs and the rest of it. Because most of them, the chiefs, they kiss the asses of the politicians. They like where they are. They're part of the club now, and that's it. But any police officer worth their salt, seriously, if they're called and asked to help close a business down or whatever, and they go and become part of that, I don't care if it's a law or not. I'm sorry. There's just a point to this. You've got to, I would ask any cop, if this happens to you, what would you do? You would want somebody to stand up for you too. It's time we stand up as citizens together instead of say, well, my chief told me I had to do this. I'm sorry. It's time to stand up and say, I'm not doing it, chief. If you want to fire me, do it. Well, I've got my pension. Well, good God, go be a Nazi. That's it. You know what? That's what the Nazis did in the 30s in Germany. That's exactly what they did. And if you are part of that, you may not like me. Hey, you know what? If you're someone that doesn't like what I'm saying, you know how to block me, unfriend me. I really don't care. I don't go on this show so I can get all the friends in the world. I really don't give a damn. I care about my country. I care about where we're going with this, my grandkids, all that stuff. I look at my grandkids now and I shake my head and I go, my God, how in the world? And then here's what happens. When you die, the government takes a big portion of it. You've paid your taxes, you've done all that stuff. You've paid all that. But when you die, the government says, hey, we get a portion of that. Do you know what, the St. Louis Rams at one time, the owner, Georgia Frontier, died. And the kids had to pay the tax on inheriting the team. The tax on was so much that they had to sell the team. Yes, that's how it worked. There's family farms, same way. There's people, they inherit the family farm and they got to sell the farm because they can't pay the inheritance taxes. There's so much on here, it's just not even funny. But we have allowed taxes to rule. And then when the taxes there, how many people don't pay them? How many people, like I said, I got a slew of relatives there that live off of all of us, and we get to support them. And they don't, that's just how it is. And then the best part, like I said before, is that one way or another, tax-wise, they walk away with earned income credit when they haven't earned a damn thing. How does that work? Things are upside down. Taxpayers are getting their asses kicked. Our kids, our grandkids, everybody down the line is going to be paying for this stupidity, and that's it. And we're allowing it. But I want to take a break here. I guess part of what I think sometimes is, how in the world do we allow this to happen? I'm dead serious. How do we allow this to happen? Well, it's not just about not obeying mask orders. I get that. It's more than not obeying mask orders. Look, there's no businesses closing in Jefferson County right now. So I don't even care what they do. They can have their little mask order. If that's going to make them feel better, who gives a rat's? I really don't care. I haven't changed anything in Jefferson County. When I'm here, I go into a place and that's it. I've never had anybody tell me to leave. Supposedly people tell me at the Quick Trips and some of the other places they don't let you in without a mask. Why buy your gas there? Why buy anything there? And who knows if they've been threatened. A lot of times what happens is the people in charge of them, they say, you gotta do this. Otherwise they'll come after us. Because they have money invested. See, this is part of, they're stuck in a place. They got money invested. They put $1 million out or a few $1 million out to put a gas station there and the rest of it. And then all of a sudden government says, well, if you don't do this, and this, we're going to shut you down. I don't blame them. I really don't. And, it's real easy. And this is one of my pet peeves too. It's real easy when people say, well, they need you to just go ahead and stay open. I'll be there. You can be there 24 hours a day. I've done the protest. People don't show up. They're afraid. People are afraid of government. I'm not afraid of government. I guess I'm weird. I'm not afraid of government. I couldn't care less what they do. It doesn't really affect me. It really doesn't. The only thing government could do is hold me back, and that's never going to happen. I really don't care. So, all right, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to play my theme song for my show here because I can, and it gives. We are Americans. I'm going to just start out with this. We are Americans. There's a reason why this song is my theme song, because left and right, yes, we are more right, but we are Americans, and every American should be looking. And the one thing in here I told you, it just affects me. You see these kids sitting down, and all of a sudden they stand up because they want to do something. That's what every person watching the show needs to do. It really is, because we cannot continue to do what we're doing. Anyway, I'll be back in a few.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't label us left or right. Our American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising 'cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours in sight. I am American, that's what I am, that's what I think, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue. It's not about it's about what's right. Our American. Taking back our country, come and join the fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising 'cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours in sight. I am American, that's what I am, that's what I think, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for American, that's what I am, that's what I say, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue.
Alrighty, there you go. Whoops, sorry about that. What I really like about that is the fact that they get up, and that's what I want. That's what I more than anything. My goal is for so many people to get up and do things instead of staying around doing nothing, because that's what we've done. You know, I've been doing this for a while, and when I watch that video, I sit there and watch it, I see all these people sitting around. That's Republicans, and we're letting it happen. I don't mean to get so emotional, but that's what I feel like. It's like, you know, people, Dave, thanks a lot. I don't care. It's not just what I do. I can't do it alone. But when you see these kids get up in that video and they start, yeah. So we have to do. We can't win if we don't help. That's it. Standing on a sideline saying, you do it, you do it, you do it. I am sick to death of people looking at me going, oh, why don't you run for this? Why don't you run for that? Because I already got a job. My job is to get you people off your asses, and there are plenty that are, and I am so happy. I'm so happy that so many people are jumping up and saying yes, but not enough. Not enough. And if you're looking for somebody to be a hero, radio guy or TV guy or something like that, then and you want to look up to them and let them do everything, you don't get it. You don't get it. You got to figure out what you can do and not what everyone else can do. Because I'll tell you what, I hear it all the time. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? There's nothing I despise more than somebody telling me something else I can do because they refuse to or they're too lazy to. We got it, and what do? We look at a president. We do with this President Trump. This is why I get so bothered. We look at President Trump and say, he's doing so much for us. We have a responsibility to our own country, to our kids, to everybody to do this. We really do. We got voter fraud beyond belief. One of the reasons it's my duty to go to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. I want to, I like I said, I was supposed to give a speech at this meeting, and I talked to them about it, and they said, we're going to miss you, but we totally get it. We have to be there. I figure I got a bigger mouth than most. I might as well go up there and enjoy it. I don't go up there in fear. I go up there in patriotism. And as soon as I said this, some of the people, Cherries, one of them, and a few others, say, hell yes, I want to go. Because they want to bring our country back. Everybody, not everybody should go. That would be interesting. But everybody should be one way or another get involved. There's a list of people on Real Republicans right now. I have a list of positions open. There's all kinds of places there. And people are going, wow, wonder who's going to do that. If you're doing that, honestly, it may take a little time, but you're doing that, you may say, you know what? I think it's time I start getting involved. I start doing things. Because when you're watching other people do it, you see what happens. Here, you want to see what happens when other people do it? Let me go back to this again. They're spending how many billions and billions and billions of dollars? And your people that are representing you, are sending, 600 million, let me see, 900 billion in coronavirus relief. Let me see, 135 million in Burma, 85.5 million, and I'll go through the list again. 1.4 billion for, one of our favorites is 25 million for gender programs in Pakistan. That's where your money's going. So while you're sitting there going, I wish somebody would do something, there's so many of us that are so qualified to do so much. You have the heart and the desire to do what's right. And probably would, believe me, most people are, I've learned this, most people are weak. And they will fall for all kinds of things and they'll say, well, we had to do, they'll make excuses. Whenever they get to a point they start making excuses, it's probably time for them to go. I don't know why, I don't know why Republicans, in our district here, we have Ann Wagner. In my district, we got Blaine Luetkemeyer in the one I used to live in. And I know down in southeast Missouri, you got Jason Smith. You got all these people there who've been there a while. Nothing's changed. Oh, but we like them. They're really nice. And I love it when somebody says, but they helped me do something once. You know what? There's people in prison right now who have helped somebody do something once. They did. They helped them do something once. But it's what they totally do that counts. I'll give you, I'll take $1,000 of your money. I'll give you $200 back, but I'll take the other $800 and give it to another country or other people or corporations that don't need it. I mean, corporations that it's not theirs. That's what you're doing. Yeah, that's about right. But that's only because, like, and the reason I got to tell you something. I do sit here and I look at that video. I didn't get up one bit because I look at that, and I look at those kids in that video, and you may think I'm crazy. Look, I like to watch The Godfather over and over, but that video I like over and over because I see these kids sitting there like so many Americans and just going like, whatever. And finally they get pissed off and they get up and they say, I want to help. That's the only way we're going to save our country, the only way. I love listening to Rush, but Rush needs to start telling people we need to save our own country. Some people say it's not his job. I think it is. There's so many people out there do what I do. Instead of them just saying, instead of saying, we're going to do this or we're going to do that. You're by yourself or they're not doing it. They're just saying it. They give a great speech and that's it. That's all it is a good speech. If that's all you want is a good speech, then the hell with it. Let the country go down on handbags and say, but that speech was nice. I have to tell you something, and I'm not going to mention names here, but one of my friends made a comment to me. He said, the reason I believe in you is because you get off your butt, you will get out and do something, you will protest, you'll get out there with a bullhorn, you will stand up and you'll go talk to people, you will do everything you can. Some people just want to have a crowd, and I never liked this. This is one thing I never liked about some of these tea parties. People get up and give their great speeches. Oh, they're wonderful speeches. But what do they do when they leave? Nothing. They don't do a damn thing. And we need doers. We need people, who have a platform. And I've reached out to some of these people, and I might as well be talking to a wall of some of them because they're too, look, I'm not trying to be harsh here, but they're too interested in being a superstar than they are being an American. A caring American that says, we have to all work together. I'm glad to hear one of them is actually finally going out saying, we need to at least take over the schools. We need to go out and run for school boards. I'm glad to hear somebody's finally saying that. Maybe my message is working for other people sometimes, and it takes a while sometimes. You got to repeat yourself. Ask Saul Alinsky. My friend Jim watches the show all the time, and we don't agree on everything. But the one thing I know is he's got a big heart, and he's doing it, but he knows I have a huge heart. And he knows I'm here for the right reasons. He knows I'm an American. He knows I care. And I don't want kudos for that. I want people to join me. See, that's the difference. I don't, the kudos are fine. I want people to join in. The best thing I ever hear is when somebody says, how do I get there? By the way, when Sherry contacted me, she said, it's hard to find out where to go and what to do. That's the point. That's what we want to change. I want to change everything there is about how hard it is to find out what the job description is, what the basics are. I don't know a lot of them. And I'm going to be asking some of the very people who have done this to contact me. Give us a job description of what you do or did. Carl, you are a councilman. Here's your assignment, Carl. You are a councilman in Arnold. Do me a favor. Write me a little paragraph or something like that, what the job description is of somebody run for council in Arnold. There are positions open. I want to put that on the website because that's what it is. Charlie, if you're listening, same thing with you. You people that have been there, you need to do this. The average American wants you to know that they're not apathetic. They just don't care. Yeah. Oh, I'll do something if somebody comes to my house and puts handcuffs on me and forces me to do it. That's really what it amounts to. We got all these mask mandates. Now, I have riled up enough people, not just myself. I want to take credit for it. I've riled up enough people, and others have, to say that in the next election for a health board, I guarantee you, it's not going to be a Democrat majority anymore. Oh no, we got too many people riled up. And when that happens, guess what we do? This is what we get to do. This is why every single person watching this show needs to get involved. Because when we take over, We get to make the decisions. Yes, we do. And people like us do. And then we go in there and we say, we don't want some dictator as a health department director. We don't want that. It's not going to happen. Because let me tell you right now, I'm a really nice guy until it comes to politics. And if you are not doing the job, I'm fair. But if I don't think you're doing the job and you're voting for garbage like all this, I'm going to be your worst enemy. But I can be their worst enemy, but here's my question. Who's going to replace that person? You can't vote them out. You have to vote for somebody. And that's where people have to step up. I've been doing this long enough to tell you right now, the hardest thing to do, and that's why it makes my day when somebody does it, the hardest thing to do is step up. It is. And then you wonder, there's a young man who wants to run. Is he probably the most qualified? He's more qualified than who's there now. But I want to see people, there's a lot of retired people retire early, whatever, that have a lot of experience, a lot of brain power, all that stuff. They're the ones who should be stepping up. They're the ones that go, you know what? I want us to take over this part. And we want to be able to help those people. And when we get the setup all together now it's realrepublicans.net, so pay attention to that. The website's getting better and better, but it's going to be a while before it gets to where it wants to be. Look, you think I don't have better things to do, learn how to do websites? Right now, we're starting at the bottom. I can't wait until some super smart guy that with websites comes in and says, "What the hell were you thinking, Dave?" And I said, "Only what I could do." And he's going to say, I'm going to make it rock. I'm going to make this the best you've ever seen. Because I care about my country. I don't want it to be like some of these other PACs where they pay the guy on top $100,000 plus. Happens all the time. Republicans are so good at this. You know how many PACs are out there? All the different organizations, Republican organizations, and they're making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 from contributors. That's part of your deep state, by the way. Oh, yes. I haven't received a penny. I've spent money I probably shouldn't be spending. But I don't care. Because you know what drives me is my love for my country. That's right. We can only do the best we can. And that's what I do. And it would be really good to have people on board. Well, everybody should be on Real Republicans, I'll tell you right now. By the way, I don't even know how it works, to be honest with you. I actually put a contact form on there. If you want to be part of it, fill out the contact form. And that's going to get better too. But as time goes on, but we need the money, we need the people, we need the dedication to, we need somebody that really is a patriot, not someone that holds up a flag and says, "Hey, I got a flag on my deck or on my wall," or something like that. A patriot is your heart. These are symbols. But a patriot is your heart. Council members in Arnold are supposed to represent their ward. Unfortunately, if you aren't paying money directly to the constituency, they won't reelect you. Fixing streets, improving business districts, improving fire and police. You know what? That's through lack of education. Not your point. I'm just saying. But I think those are some of the things that maybe you can come up with and say, look, I would love to do this. I would love to do that. Well, reminds me of Carl. One of the people that was running for Arnold, I've told this story before. Free trash. Oh, free trash, my God. Everybody loves free trash. Every 3 months, I think we pay $54 for trash. If you are stupid enough, oh my God, if you're stupid enough to think that the city can work a deal out with the trash company to give you free trash and your taxes don't go up, if you're really that stupid, maybe you shouldn't be voting. There's no such thing as free. You know, I remember talking to a bunch of people who were running for office, and I told them, and you'll understand this, Carl. I told them one time when they said that, one of them said, well, what if they said they want a free internet? I said, well, since you're running for office, and this is something that people must understand, there's two ways of doing this. All right, if a loser runs, when I say a loser, I'm talking about somebody that's going to lie to their teeth and do all kinds of stuff for themselves. This is how it works. I'm just telling you how it works. People want to vote for somebody that's going to give them all kinds of free stuff. But if somebody was to ask me, if I'm running for office, so somebody says, I think it'd be great to have free internet. I said, me too. And people go, well, you're lying. It's like, no, I think it'd be great to have free internet, wouldn't you? Well, you can't. I didn't say that. They want free internet. Okay, I agree. Free internet's wonderful. Now, right now, you're all scratching your head. You're going, what? That's what they want to hear. Because if you don't say it, Carl, tell me if I'm right. If you don't say it, the other guy running against you says, I'm going to give you free internet and free trash. That's how you get elected. Getting elected is totally different. Now, you're going, now, wait a minute, you're lying to them. Not really, because you agree with them. Free internet's great. You didn't say you could do it. You just said, that would be great. Did I say I'm doing it? Oh, you're misleading them. No, I'm telling them that would be great. I'm just agreeing with them. Free internet's great. So you get in office, and they call you up, and they go, wait a minute, where's the free internet you promised? I go, no, I didn't promise the free internet. What I promised you, no, all I told you is I agree with you. But I've been searching, and I can't find one company that'll give me free internet. They won't do it. I tried for you. Well, you don't think the city can pay for it? Well, where do you think the city gets their money from? They get it from you. One way or another, this actually would help these people. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it wouldn't. Yes, it would. Because when they contact you and you go, but you promised this, and say, I never promised free internet. I said it'd be a great thing. And I talked to these companies, and not one of them said anything about free internet. Because I talked to AT&T and I talked to Charter, and they all said, are you nuts? We can't give you free internet. So they said they're going to charge, so either it's going to be higher taxes or you pay it yourself. Take your pick. But that's not what he said. No, I never said I'd give you free internet. I told you I'd try to find it if I can get it. I can't find it. Hey, by the way, if you can find it, send it to me because we'll make sure everybody gets it. I think it'll actually sink in, believe it or not, for most people. Some people are just, they have their head in, they're sitting on their heads all the time, if you get my drift. They can't see the light of day because they're sitting somewhere. So anyway, that's how you do it. Now, a lot of people don't like that. They go, well, that's misleading. Well, you know what? There's two things that get you elected. And everyone, this is the one thing I teach anybody running for office. Never argue with a taxpayer. Never argue with a voter, I should say. Never argue with a voter. Listen. I'm giving you a lesson now. Listen to them. If they say, I want this and this, you're going to represent them. Don't argue with them. I gotcha. They want to be heard. Voters want to be heard. I had a young man who was running for office, and the first thing he did was open his mouth and tell them all the things he was going to do, and that's it. I guarantee you some of the things he said that people didn't like. And I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm telling them all the stuff I want to do when I get in office. I go, well, you're losing voters. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, you're losing voters because you're going to say things they don't like and they're not going to vote for you. They're going to vote for the other guy who hasn't told them a damn thing. Now, you may not like that, but voters want to have a voice. That's the one thing. I learned that from a candidate. Well, I knew it anyway, but he was telling me a story. He was a Republican. He is a Republican, one of the good ones. He better call me. Anyway, he was a Republican. I'm gonna have him on the show soon, but he was a Republican, and we were talking about it. And he said he went to go visit this guy. He's giving his signings out. It's his first year he's running for a state rep, and he gets this guy's place, and the guy is a big lefty, big labor guy, union guy, the whole thing, and he does not like Republicans. And my friend is like, "Oh my God!" And the guy, they were talking. He's thinking, "How do I get out of this?" And I'll get to that in a second, Carl. How do I get out of this? And next thing you know, he found out he was a gun guy, and my friend was a big Second Amendment guy. And the next thing you know, that person that was on the left came over and said, "Not only will I vote for you, but I'll let you put a sign in my yard." This is a hard lefty, and he voted for a Republican. So there's always, this is something else too. People want to go and argue with them. I don't argue with them. I try to find, almost every time you can find something that you can agree on. You really can. And by the way, Carl, who used to be a councilman, says free is actually higher cost because taxes have to include at least a civil service to administer the free service. Absolutely right. I don't need a two-bit politician to figure out if I want to pay $54. That's what I pay now, $54 every quarter in trash. Because here you go. They may have a buddy. You ready for this? They may have a buddy who owns a trash company. Oh, but I want government to do this for him. No, they have a buddy who owns a trash company, and the buddy says, "We'll do it for $70. And not only that, but you and I can split some extra cash here. I'll make sure you go to the Cardinal games. I'll make sure you go to this. You make sure this goes through. It's fine." So all of a sudden, that $54 turns into $70 because you thought you could give it to a politician to make it cheaper. Now, a lot of people are probably walking off the show now and go, "I don't want to hear this." Well, this is your problem. You don't understand how government works. You don't understand how this all works. And a lot of people just want to hear the latest, and that's fine. You could do that all day long. But this show is about teaching you how politics really and truly works. Our friend Sherry wants to run for school board. Awesome. I love it. And let me tell you something. She's going to walk in and she's going to find out that some of these people on the school board are good friends of vendors, of food company people. And they say, "Well, we have a great food company. I know you're not going to do any research, and we'll only charge this much." And what they do is they sell them, and they go, "Hey, wait a minute. The average cost of this is $8.50. We're only going to charge you $6. And you're going, "Wow, that's a $2 savings." And that's how they do it. I mean, it's not that hard because if you think the people that you're electing who have no business experience whatsoever, no offense, most of them don't, if you really think that they're actually the people that you want spending your money, the biggest expense in every county is the school system. And if you knew how inadequate most people on the school board are spending your money, you would scream. When you go look at your tax bill, let's say, for instance, your tax bill is $2,000. That includes roads and all these other things. But the schools, you don't have kids in school. And you're paying $1,200, $1,400, $1,800, whatever. Just to the schools. You're going, what? Yeah. They have the big, beautiful buildings. They have the nice turf fields. They have the brand new football uniforms, all this stuff. When I was a kid, we had a hockey team, a neighborhood hockey team. And, we actually traveled. But we actually went out of our way. This is what we did as kids. I don't know why they can't do it today. You see them out there. We actually used to wash cars. Now what do? They stand on the corner and beg. Hey, give me money. We're having this. How about working for it? I mean, how about doing things? You know, we're not teaching our kids right. That's just all there is to it. Yeah, once you eliminate the competition, how about selling the sewers, the water companies, and watch the water company raise it? That's how they do it. You know what? Listen, that's a great thought. You know why college prices, why college is so high? Because government came in and said, we're going to guarantee loans. We have mostly liberal kids running around telling the politicians we need to cancel our student debt. So you want to become a plumber, you become a journalist, a journeyman. You work for the place 3 years, and all of a sudden you're a master plumber, however it works there. You work your way through it. You pay your way. You do everything. But college kids don't know, wait a minute. Our colleges, we can go ahead and just get not only get a loan for school, which is astronomical because it goes up every year. If the price of milk went up the same way the price of college went up, milk would be about $30 a gallon, at least. But not only are we going to pay for the school but we're going to pay for their books. Oh, that's another scam. Plus, we're going to pay for your place to stay. I don't want to stay at home. I can live real close and go to college here. But I want to go away for college. Oh, yes, I know. She's a joke. That's just it. By the way, she wants to be the next auditor. Mary Elizabeth Cole wants to be auditor. But she's rising high in the current Republican Party. And I've got some people mad at me because they think that she's really a Republican. Right. She's another situation where she got an R next to her name. That's it. Now, some people say, but she's really nice. Most politicians are nice until you confront them. Behind the scenes, I guarantee you, I probably got a lot of curse words in front of my name. And I really don't care. And nobody should, because if somebody's not being totally upfront, forget it. They aren't. Where are we? I'm sorry. I'm just kind of going off here, and I don't mean to, but people have to. This is your political class for the day. A lot of a lot of people don't even think about this stuff. They really don't. When I look at some of these headlines sometimes, though, I'm just looking at them real quick to see if anything new came up. When I look at these headlines sometimes, I really do get ill. I really do. When I see the things that are going on, it makes me ill because we allow it to happen. It's like you said, Jim. We have a $2.3 trillion spending bill. All they had to do, since this is supposed to be coronavirus, all they had to do was, this is all ridiculous anyway. Actually, we can probably shrink that to 20% of what it is. And not give it to corporations, unless, I don't want to give it to corporations anymore, but, give it to the companies that are truly devastated by this. By the lockdowns that aren't their fault. And frankly, to tell you the truth, though, those companies need to just hightail their ass out of there. I know companies are moving out of St. Louis County as we speak. They want to move to Jefferson County and St. Charles County so they don't have to worry about this kind of stupidity ever again. That's not how we fix things, by the way. Why do you think our cities are such a disaster right now? Because we have allowed, Republicans have done this. Republicans have always been horrible at local politics. They're horrible at it. They don't care. They don't care about schools. They don't care about they don't care about local politics. Let the cities die. Who cares? I don't want St. Louis to die. I grew up in the city of St. Louis. It was a great place to grow up in spite of my childhood. If it wasn't for some of my neighbors, I don't know if I'd be around today. Or I don't know if I wouldn't be in prison. I don't know. If it wasn't for some of the good people around me. But we have lost that. We are watching the cities of St. Louis go to hell. We are watching Republican mayors and Democrat mayors and county executives close their states down. And some Republicans are doing this too. We are watching them close them down with these silly shutdowns, telling them that we don't want anybody to get it. By the way, on this mask order we have, which is stupid anyway, do you realize, let me see what they got here. I haven't been there in a couple days. In the last few weeks, I check it out all the time. This is what they're doing. I want to look at the latest here. Zero deaths again. We've got we've had several weeks. Every once in a while you have a week where somebody dies and supposedly COVID. We don't have any. But they think they're doing well with this. They think they're actually helping people. You can't walk in a store. I walked into Walmart the other day, forget it. By the way, I have a great story to tell you about karma and sticking to your beliefs. And I have to give this company credit. But I got to give myself credit I'm going to give myself credit for sticking to what I believe. I told you the story a couple months ago about a company who we made a deal. I do commercial lighting on the side. We made a deal that I would go ahead and do their lighting work. I'll leave it there. Don't need the rest of it. And that I did not wear a mask because I don't wear a mask. And in the middle of it, I told you that we had an issue that one of their gentlemen who wasn't wearing a mask stopped me and asked me a question. And all of a sudden, the son of the ownership, went in and said, you got to wear a mask if you're going to talk to somebody. I said, don't worry about it. I won't talk to him. No, I've decided you're going to wear a mask. I am not the person to say that to, ever. You're not going to put me in a corner because I'll tell you to kiss it. And so what did I do? I said, your choice. Either I finish the job as we had verbally agreed to, or I walk. And I walked. And I didn't go back. And they kept trying to contact me, and I said, not interested. Stick it where the sun doesn't shine. I don't even care if I get paid. I sent them a bill. They tried to tell me, the son tried to tell me, you got to do this, you got to do that. Tried to threaten me. And I was like, stick it. I don't care. I'm too old for this crap. I'm not interested. So the other day, now I've been on TV and in the paper and all that stuff because I stick to my beliefs. I do what's right. I do what's right for my country, for myself, for people around me. That's what I do. I want everybody else to join me. But anyway, gentleman called me up as the father, and he apologized. He said, Dave, I've seen what you do. He goes, I've known you for years. You are a man of your word. He goes, and you stuck to your word. Everything you said you did. He goes, I have to respect that. And I got paid. He sent me it, and I got paid. And even the couple of things he asked me, he says, you don't have to do them if you don't want. But because he was nice enough and he wasn't being that, he was really nice, and we went ahead and we worked it out. But we didn't work it out by threatening me because nobody threatens me. I don't care. And because it doesn't matter to me. I'm not very good at that. So anyway. Anyway, my point is if you stick to your guns and you do what's right, then everything will work out for you. And I do believe that. So, it's like for those of us that stick to our guns, it may not pay off today. I believe in karma more than most. I do. That's why I try to do the right thing. I try, I realize I'm wrong sometimes, and I apologize when I'm wrong. But the one thing everybody should do, the one thing I'm going to do no matter what, is I'm going to hang in there and fight for our country until I'm dead. And that may mean tomorrow, that may mean next year, maybe 20 years from now. I don't know. But I know one thing, that I have committed myself, like some people have committed themselves to the ministry. This is my ministry right here. That I'm going to do everything I can. And I'm going to repeat that on January, there's a bus leaving. And by the way, for those of you in Jefferson County, South area, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. The bus is leaving in Farmington, Missouri, but it's going to stop in Arnold. It's going to stop there and pick people up. And if it's possible, if there's enough people, they may even have another bus. It costs money to do it. I respect everybody is going to fork out a little bit of cash and go. I can't wait to be with my fellow my fellow St. Louis Metro people and other people throughout the United States who care enough about our country to show up and support ourselves and the president who we elected, who support our country and don't believe in voter fraud and don't believe in the deep state, who want to put the deep state down. That's on a Wednesday. I'm trying to figure out, let me see. We know they're going to be there. How about we come up with a list? Here you go. How about we come up with a list? Maybe that's what I'll get there a day early. On the 5th. There you go. I'm leaving a day early. And I'm going to go visit my congresswoman. I'm going to go visit some of the other people I know. And I'm going to tell them right up front that you are never going to see another election. Now, they're going to look at me and laugh. It doesn't matter. But when I put my mind to something, I usually get there. And I'm talking for everybody here. Eventually, we're going to have a huge group here. I'm talking about in the nation. Somebody said, well, real Republicans, that's not a very big group yet. And I go, no, it isn't. What do you think? Every group starts out with thousands and thousands of people? And not only that, but this is the difference in our group. If you're just going to sit around and enjoy everyone else's work, you're going to be chastised. You're going to be chastised. You deserve to be chastised because you're playing political welfare. You're having someone else do your work. Now, I am not going to give people grief. Yeah, I will, believe me. Sherry said, tell them the Patriots are coming. They are mad. You damn right we're mad. I'm mad at these people who are going to vote for this, who voted for this bill. I want to get a list today, if I can find one. And if somebody gets one, send it to me so I don't have to look so damn hard. Look, I do my research. There's other people out there that can do that. If you get it, send it my way because I'll use it for tomorrow. And I'll have more fun than you know what to do with chastising every one of these creeps. I'm telling you, there's a lot of them out there, by the way. This is where, when rubber hits the road, as they say. There's a lot of them out there at election time telling you how we have to cut the budget, we got to do this, we got to do that. But when it comes time to vote, you see their name on an outrageous spending bill. That's who they really are, not what they appear to be when they show up in person. Oh, I'm so devastated by this. This is what they do. I'm so devastated by how much money the Democrats want to spend. And I look at them and I go, I'm not surprised by what the Democrats are spending. But you're going along with them and they're spending $1,000 and you're spending $999. And you think I'm going to be happy with you? I don't think so. You're putting my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, I could go on and on, generation after generation. You're putting them in debt that they will never be recovered. And actually, I wonder if we'll ever recover from it. That's the biggest thing. It might be time to do a sell-off. to sell some of the land that the United States has. There are ways to get out of this. The United States owns a lot of property. And just like anything else, just like in your own finances, if you own several houses and you're running out of money, and you've been borrowing money, it's time to sell some of those houses. It's time to sell some of that property. If that's what you got to do. But there's beautiful. Well, you should have, and as a citizen, you should have thought of that before you told these representatives. And you do it all the time. One thing the Republicans do too, and we need to think about, is we're always telling them that we need this done and we need that done. As a businessman myself, whenever somebody tells me, well, I'd like you to do this and I'd like you to do that, the first thing in my brain that goes on, I have this math mind, is, all right, that's going to cost this much, it's going to cost that much. Well, can you include that in the price? If I have it built in, maybe, but if they're asking for things that I haven't included in there, and I'm not going to work for free, no, I can't include in the price. If you want these things, you have to do something, you have to pay for it. Just like if I asked you to. That's what cost. And when people don't even have that kind of brain power to realize if they ask for a service, you named it, Carl. This is what happens when you're on county council. I know this for a fact. Well, all these roads need to be fixed. Can't you just fix them? Yeah. We're going to double your taxes next year so we can fix all the roads. We'll repave everything. What the hell? Let's do it. Yes. But let me tell you where government overreach is. I'll start with Jefferson County Health Department. You drive down the road, and they're spending your tax money to tell you to wear a mask and make sure you wash your hands. I need government to do that. I need government to spend my hard-earned money to do that? Really? And I could go on, but that's what you're asking. And these people don't care. I told you when I was helping Neil in his campaign, I said, Jim, I got to tell you the problem with me being your campaign manager. I don't like spending other people's money. I don't do it. I can't do it. Tell you a little story here. Wendy and I were talking about it. She said, you want this and I want that. And we gave each other our credit cards. And said, just go ahead and get what you want. And I looked and I'm trying to be very frugal. And then I can't spend her money. I can't do it. I just don't have that in me. I'm not good at spending other people's money. I don't know how good I'd be in politics anyway if they said this. It was like, okay, fine, but I can't spend the money. You know what we have in there now? We got people in there going, look at all the cash we're getting. Oh my God, there's so much cash. Let's have TV commercials. The Jefferson County Health Department is taking your hard-earned money, and so other ones, by the way, but this is what these nutcases are doing. They're taking your hard-earned money to put a video on TV that they pay good money for because they can. It's your hard-earned money, and you're letting them do it? Oh, my God. I look at this, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And then we have people, because of our lack of ability to elect the right people. Now, to be fair, I don't think any of us ever expected this to happen in the health department. But this, as I've told people, this ought to wake everybody up. Every department out there needs to be with people who are truly fiscally conservative. As soon as a college says, well, we're going to go ahead and there's a junior college board too. There's a water board. There's all kinds of things. You know what I'd love to see the water board do? There's something in the water that we don't need. What do you think it is? I'll let somebody answer that. I would love to see it taken out of the water. I'll tell you. It's called fluoride. Not necessary. Wait, you don't brush your teeth? No, it's not necessary. And you ever notice you go to the dentist and they use fluoride, in a much heavier form, and you brush your teeth and they go, just don't swallow it, spit it out. Here's my fluoride. You can't drink water without it. Unless you go buy bottled water and the whole thing, and it's hard to do. So you drink a little fluoride, and it's not my favorite. Really isn't. But we have allowed that to happen. So all these different boards, all these things that are out there, you can do. And this is about getting involved. We want 90% of the people involved, not 10% of the people involved. And that's where, maybe you don't want to be part of it because you go, I don't want to do anything. I'm going to sit on my butt and complain. Hey, you know what? We got a job for you. You could be in charge of the complaint department since you're so damn good at it. How's that? What do you do best? I complain. Well, we know where you're going. You could either be a Democrat or in charge of the complaint department. How's that? That's maybe being in charge of the complaint department would be a good thing. I don't know. Okay, there's a couple of things I want to look up here real quick here while we can. By the way, I want to say one more time. Go on. You let him. By the way, there's a gentleman. If you go to, let me see. If you contact me, I don't want to give somebody's number out. I don't want anybody bugging him, but I'll give it to you personally if you want it. There's a gentleman, Chuck Jordan. He's the one that's putting this together. He put the money. See, he did this. I talked to him yesterday. He says, I put the money up for the bus. I'd like to make sure that we can complete it. He goes, I want to go, and there's a lot of people that are going. He goes, but we need more people. And I said, what if we get a lot more people? He says, I guess we'll do another bus. But the point is, he took his hard-earned money out and paid for it already. And it still happened. We can have another one if we want. But he did that. That's what business owners do. That's what people that take a risk do. That's what those... In fact, he could turn around. Oh my God, I just have to think of something. How many people are going to be required to wear a mask going on the bus? I don't know. I doubt it. Well, it's private, so it doesn't make a difference. But you know what? I never thought about that. I wouldn't wear one. If I go on it now, it's a private bus. It's not like the airlines have a right. But whatever. I don't know how it's going to work. I never thought about it. Because one of the things, I got to tell you something. We were looking at hotels yesterday. I was. And I always look up the reviews. Always. I look to see how far away they are, the reviews, the whole thing. And I look at the reviews. And one of the reviews cracked me up and it said, it was a liberal, obviously, and they said, we were so happy that they enforced the mask mandate because we don't want to walk around with people walking around with no mask on. Oh, good God. Give me a break. Those kind of people are sick. Those kind of people are control freaks. Those kind of people, those kind of people want to control your life. If you have somebody else telling you that you have to wear a mask because they want you to, then we need to come up with something to tell them because we want them to. How about you drop your pants while you wear it so we can identify you as not only just a mask wearer, but an idiot to start out with. I'll tell you what, I'll wear my mask if you drop your pants. How's that? And some of these people, it'd be a terrible sight. It really would. I'm trying to come up with something here, folks. If you come up with something great, let me know. But we're getting near the end of the show here. I really do hope that people do go. I would love to see the biggest crowd ever, and I think it's actually going to happen. I think we're going to have the biggest crowd ever going because President Trump said, let's go. And when you got 74 million people that voted for him, wouldn't it be awesome if 2 or 3 million showed up? And when I go there, if I can get through it, it's hard to do it sometimes. I'll be doing Facebook Live when I'm there. And bear with me because there's going to be a lot of people on phones. I know they got a lot of it can only handle so much, but I will be doing Facebook Live, and when you get on, it takes up bandwidth and the whole thing. I don't really care. I'm doing it for all of us. But for those of you who can't make it, I know everybody can't. Forget it. Tell them the Patriots. Sherry, it's funny you should say that because I think if they know me, I guarantee you, there's about every congressman and senator in the state of Missouri knows me. I know Roy Blunt does. I can't wait to go to his office. Did you know my picture is in Roy Blunt's office? Absolutely. You didn't know that, did you? Yes. It's got darts in it, in the picture. He's got a dartboard there. I know he did it one time. I'm just joking, but, when I was in Springfield, Missouri, I was going after him left and right down there, and he's from Springfield. But I guarantee you, I was on his dartboard for sure. That's what happens when you speak up. And I've been doing it for years, so I hope everybody here. Now, I want everybody here to tell other people about Real Republicans. Tell them about the show, the whole thing. I think we need thousands of people watching this show. Now, there are other people watching. Don't go by the number up there because that's not all it is. I know that. A lot of people. I know my friend Linda. She's watching the show right now. Where's my? Oh, it's in my pocket. She's watching the show right now. She got kicked out by Facebook. Yeah, Linda says some things too. I know that. Anyway, so Linda, I'm sorry you're in Facebook jail, but that's what you get when you speak up on Facebook. That's what happens. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave on time today because I have other things I have to get done today. But I appreciate everybody watching the show until somebody comes up and asks me something else. But I appreciate everybody watching the show. Whatever you do, get as many people involved as you can in our movement. See if they can go. Sherry, I'm sure I've never met you. Some of these people I've never met. I look forward to it. I'm not a hero, guys. I'm just like you guys. I am. I just have a show, and that's all there is to it. So I want everybody to think we're all the same. We're all Americans, and we all need to stand up. So, all right, everybody. Thanks a lot for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.
Quit. That's why not? I get fired. You can't fire him. Why not? He quit.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
It ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Thanks. I needed that.